What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Nail Shop. This is Casara, and I am coming to you guys with like some business tax stuff, slash vent, slash just trying to let y'all know what's up. So, just a little bit of a background. I deal with all different kind of taxes, but one thing that I specialize in, especially being self-employed, is self-employed taxes. Even before I was self-employed, um, I really understood self-employed taxes because of a lot of my family being self-employed and just so on and so forth. And I told you guys I've been doing taxes for a long, 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 long time. So there is a form. There still is a form, 1099 MISC, miscellaneous, right? Um, that for a while was used to be considered a form that was like if you had it, you were definitely self-employed, um, type of thing. And then when self-employment had to like really start being defined because of all of the like Uber drivers and Instacarters and just side gigs, right? They had to define what self-employed really meant because some people were like, nah, bullshit. Like these people don't, like I should be an employee. So basically, long story short, they came up with a new form, 1099 NEC. That means that's a non-employee compensation. So that means period point blank, you ain't our employee, right? So what happens when you're a 1099 NEC? The person who earned the income on that 1099 NEC is liable for Medicare taxes that have to be paid and Social Security taxes that have to be paid. Okay. So when you're a W 2 employee, when you take a look and uh, at some point in time, my listeners, because I've seen the demographics, you guys have had a job. So at some point in time, when you take a look at your W 2, um, or even just like each pay stub, there's always going to be what you bring home, and then that's going to be separate from like your taxes, and it's going to be like different taxes. You'll see some federal on there. Sometimes you'll see some state on there. You might see some FICA. You'll see Social Security, Medicare. It'll say like SS. It's a lot of things are abbreviated. Okay, and then when you get your W-2, everything is divided into boxes. From box 1 all the way down to box, I think 21 or 22 or some shit, right? So, and all of these boxes mean something, okay? There's a box that has your name, and there's a box that has the person who paid you, their information. It's gonna have how much they paid you. That's box 1. It's gonna be, and no, I'm sorry. And this is for W-2, okay? Don't confuse it. Again, different on the 1099 NEC. There's different boxes, different things, and so on and so forth. So right now I'm just focusing in on the W-2 so you guys can kind of see the difference. But and I don't have one in front of me, but I think it's like on box 5 or 6 or something like that. 4 or 5 or 6, something like that. It'll have Social Security and Medicare. So it'll have, what you paid into it and what was reported and so on and so forth, right? Now, when you're self-employed, unless you physically, the person who has the self-employed income, go in and pay their their quarterly taxes, what ends up happening is that self-employment tax is just accumulating. So the more money you make self-employed, the more you're gonna have to, if you haven't, especially if you haven't paid nowhere else in Social Security and Medicare, because there is a cap on how much Social Security and Medicare a person has to pay in, and that's based off of income and all these different things that are a factor, right? So back to the NEC. When you're self-employed, if you have a 1099 NEC form, or if you just get cash, if you're in the self-employed spectrum and you're not, like I said, paying quarterly taxes, you are liable for not only federal taxes that from the money that you made, but you're also looking at having to pay your portion of Social Security and Medicare. Like there's now you do get there's a line on your 1040, and the 1040 is where all the information as far as all the income is accumulated, all the credits, all the taxes and everything, each line is a form that the IRS sees to go over, that they see this is okay, this is the total calculation from everything, and so on and so forth. So there is a spot for Social Security, and there's like half of it that you can write off, right? But it's only half. The other part, you still have to fucking pay. So let's say, and what it's called is a self-employment tax, all right? And like I said, that self-employment tax is covering Medicare, Social Security, and then you get half off from there. So let's say your self-employment tax was $10,000, okay? Because I've seen self-employment tax that fucking high. 10 racks. That means that you can initially write up to 5 racks off, half, okay? Because like I said, you can write up to half of your self-employment, aka Social Security tax off. But you still have federal that has to be paid, federal taxes on the money that you accumulated, and you still have the other half of that self-employment tax. So you still have that $5,000. So if your self-employment tax is $10,000, that means you probably made about $150,000 self-employed, and your federal tax is gonna be, and this is a single person, because again, different, like when you're married, when you have dependents, all of these numbers, they fluctuate and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is why I'm just throwing out what do you call it, like vague details about it, because I don't want you guys to get hooked on the fact of, oh, well, let me make this much and this is how much I'm gonna have to pay, or if I ever make this much, I'm discouraged because I don't want to have to pay this much stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm just speaking before deductions, write-offs, all of the other kind of stuff. The only one deduction that I did speak of was the self-employment deduction of the half. Okay, but I'm saying all of this to say, the more money you make, because a lot of people like to tell you about the write-offs. Oh, you can write this off, you write this off, and that's true. You can, okay, and especially if you've done it, make sure you have all of your records for it, because at any given time, saying I think the IRS has up to 7 years to audit you. You need to have all your ducks in a row, okay? As long as you can prove that the money was spent where the fuck you said it was spent for those deductions for your businesses, more power to you, okay? But there's a lot of people who have businesses that make a lot of money and they don't have write-offs like that. Like I know, for instance, like bookkeeping, you can make a grip of money doing bookkeeping, but unless you have like contract workers, people up underneath you, like unless you have a big overhead, like an office, renting space and stuff like that, which a lot of bookkeeping, I know a lot of people who do bookkeeping, they do it from home, which is bomb, they don't have a lot of fucking write-offs. So even if, let's say, you're married, filing joint, but you have no dependents, or if you do have dependents, no, we're gonna say you don't have any dependents, like, and you don't have any fucking write-offs, like, damn, you can end up owing a lot of money in taxes. Excuse me. I hate when it's down when I get my hiccups. You can end up owing a lot of money in taxes, but not just federal, depending on the state you live in. Like I live in California, you have to give them some money too, you know? So when you're out here making your money and, work hard, play hard, remember Uncle Sam wants his little dollars too. Now, there are other things that you can do, especially depending on your tax bracket, um, your your tax bracket, and like your filing, like as far as your corporations and different things, to be able to help minimize the taxes that's owed on the income. It also depends on the type of income you're making, if it's passive income or not. You know what I'm saying? But there's things that you can do to help alleviate some of that, those taxes. But it comes down to like getting with someone, because